members, let us commit this sitting to prayer. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests have been committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, I confirm that we have quorum to proceed with the sitting. Clerks, read the orders of the day.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, the chair has the following communication to make. The Budget, Finance and Appropriation Committee will meet after the rise of this afternoon sitting at the chambers. I thank you. Next order. Honorable members, let us recognize the presence of peoples from St. Philip's Bungule, Kasiga Ward, accompanied by their teachers, Mr. Mumbanga, Mr. Joram Kapala, Madam Dorothy Maza, Hildegard Mwambingu, Clemens Mwakesi, Gertrude Mgambi, and Raymond Jumwa Radio Rama. Karibuni.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion. adoption and approval of the report of the Sectorial Committee on Early Childhood Education, Development, Libraries, and Vocational Training on the challenges faced by vocational training centers in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I raise to move a motion on adoption and approval of the reports of the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Education, Development, Libraries, and Vocational Training on the challenges faced by vocational training centers in the county. That this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Education, Development, Libraries, Vocational Training on the challenges faced by vocational training centers in the county, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 28 November 2023, morning sitting, number 083, and its recommendations thereof. The Speaker, before I also want to make some few remarks on this report. The Speaker, the report is very detailed on the challenges that are facing our VTCs. The Speaker, I want to enlighten just few areas that are of concern before we. And that is now the observation that as a committee, we were able to find. And the observation as follows, Mr. Speaker: most departments in VTCs lack instrumental material, hence poor performance. There is also inadequate trainers in some departments, e.g. fashion design, garment making, hairdressing, and beauty therapy. School fees, arrears, and low fee payment. Also, number 4, lack of marketing for vocational training center. These are the observations that we made. We had also poor funding of vocational training centers, inadequate lecture rooms and workshops. Some facilities lack modern tools, equipment. Some facilities lack water and electricity connectivity. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I also want to give the recommendation that the committee gave before I wind up. These are the recommendations: to formulate VTC bills and capitation policy, collaborate with the stakeholders to invest in ICT in VTCs, facilitate and fund VTCs to acquire management information system, capacity build instructors and VTC principals so as to embrace use of information and communication technology, fund the institution to ensure all VTCs have enough resources needed for CBET curricular implementation, and the last, employ instructors on permanent and pensionable terms to ensure all courses of instructors. Provision of grants and bursaries to enhance access to VTC by vulnerable groups and marginalized. Renovate old infrastructure and replace obsolete tools and equipment with modern technology tools and equipment to facilitate CBET implementation, conduct a basement survey on the status of VTC in the county, expand VTC's facilities targeting county priority sectors, provides VTC training to persons with special needs, ensure all VTC have land title deeds, provide VTC training while ensuring affirmative action to vulnerable groups, gender, and to reach minority and marginalized groups. Number also 14, operationalize the gender policy for enhancing gender priority and meeting the needs of vulnerable groups, enhance participating of women in TVET and the gender mainstreaming through affirmative action, provide career guidance and placement services to support students in career planning and guidance, streamline the maintenance of industrial attachment VTC, establishment of guidance and counseling units in VTC, develop criteria for selection of VTC to upgrade into centers of excellence at least once VTC in each sub-county, curb wildlife-human conflict that affects learning and economic activity in some areas, and the last is ties communities to discard social cultural practice that hinder the effective participation of girls in technical program. The Speaker, with those few recommendations from the committee, I call upon Honorable Patricia to second the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Patricia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support the report. Thank you. Second, sorry.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Education Development, Libraries and Vocational Training on the challenges faced by vocational training centers in the county, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 28th November 2023, morning sitting number 83, and its recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Mheshimiwa Anselim, the Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity you've granted me to contribute to this motion on the report of vocational training centers. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are all aware that vocational training is devolved. It's a devolved function. It's one of the functions that have been devolved. Apparently, Mr. Speaker, if we are not careful as Taita Taveta, then this devolved function may end up shutting down, because you visit majority of the vocational training centers, the VTCs, Mr. Speaker, there's a lot that you can see that they are at the verge of collapsing. Number one is about the enrollment. The enrollment in various VTCs is low, save for a few, very low. And that translates to difficulties in running and managing of these institutions. So you look at, if you may have an opportunity to share with these VTC managers, the institutions are facing a lot of financial issues, and this is mainly contributed to by the factor of finances. This House even has not done deliberate, even previously, has not done deliberate decisions that will channel financing towards vocational training centers. And it will be a big shame, because how do you manage an institution with an enrollment of 20, even less than 50, 50 students? And as we all know, apart from running costs, there are those fixed costs, regardless of the number of students that you are hosting in a facility. There are those costs that you must incur, or the institution must incur. So not unless even this House, Honorable Speaker, comes up with deliberate measures of financing and supporting VTCs across this county, vocational training center, majority of them, the centers, will shut down. And it should be a campaign. And silently in Mwanda Mgange, we've started that campaign. We started like a year ago. And even within the Word Fund, we had to put monies straight to channel them towards sponsorship. But that sponsorship is not just sponsorship, but it is aimed at first, yes, providing the sponsorship to the beneficiaries, who are the local mwananchi out there, of our electorates. But again, it's an avenue to assist Kilogo VTC and Mwanda VTCs, the managers, to manage the facilities, because literally there's no money to manage the facilities. So not unless, even from the assembly point of view, we look at the budgetary requirement of these VTCs, Mr. Speaker, then we cannot be talking of quality vocational training if these VTCs are running at almost zero budgets. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, on the VTCs, I have a lot of passion for vocational training because Taita Taveta is headed towards the era of industrialization. We are talking about investors, we are talking about industries coming to Taita Taveta, like seriously. But what have we done to address the issue of the workforce that will come to take care of the labor needs of the industries that we are talking about to come in the days just about? Mr. Speaker, sir, we should be jokers of this century if we can be talking about industries to come, pushing people left, right, and center in this world, across the world, to come and set up structures, and we don't have a workforce, skilled, trained, qualified workforce, because most of the people that we have as fundis around here, when you ask them about certifications, they have none. And when they are taken to serious places of engagement, Mr. Speaker, there's a term in Kiswahili called watu wa mkono. They are taken there as casual laborers. So we need to find a way of empowering this workforce as we even prepare for the next takeoff of industrialization in Taita Taveta. I stand to support this motion, Mr. Speaker, and I beg, apart from passing this motion, come the next financial year, we need to undertake deliberate moves and actions on the budget so that we can empower vocational training centers, because that is where Kenya is headed. You hear of the housing projects and all that. Who are these people that are going to undertake this kind of projects? So we need also to realign ourselves to the agenda of the current presidency, because if houses are coming to be constructed in our sub-counties, we hope they're coming. So who is it that is going to be engaged if we are not going to put our active youth into this kind of, line of thought to make sure that we have a good workforce to undertake what is coming before us, and even the current or the present needs of our vocational training centers. I stand to support, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Mheshimiwa Mohamedi was up first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity to contribute to this wonderfully prepared report. First and foremost, I want to thank the chair and his committee for the work well done. And while the chair was reading the report to us, even as I support it, it also came to my mind that these vocational institutions are technical based. And Mr. Speaker, sir, especially in the institutions within my ward, that is Mbale VTC and Mwagafwa, I visited them just the other day, and I realized one of the complaints was having a perimeter wall around the institution. And I started asking myself, why should the county be incurring huge costs in giving out tenders to, for instance, construct perimeter walls and add furniture to such institutions which we own? Maybe even as I support this report, will also request my able chair for the committee to also liaise with the necessary department and see how best maybe a policy can be brought that can exempt these institutions from tough qualifications for acquiring tenders, so that we can start giving them assignments and making them more able, that they may be able to generate income by themselves as they train these professionals. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support this report.
Mheshimiwa Makalo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First and foremost, we want first of all to acknowledge the presence of the kids whom we represent. I personally represent this assembly, Mr. Speaker, for them being ready to interact with the environment of this house, Mr. Speaker, and they can have a feeling of what undergoes inside here. So when they see us in the villages, Mr. Speaker, they should be able to understand what happens and how we conduct business here, Mr. Speaker. These are kids from unprivileged families, most of them, under the Compassion International program, Mr. Speaker, and it is very worthwhile for them to have this session and interact with this house, Mr. Speaker, because they are future leaders, I agree. Onto the report, Mr. Speaker, let me first of all acknowledge the contributions made by the DS, especially on the seriousness, Mr. Speaker, that we have always given to this department, Mr. Speaker. Because it's like, Mr. Speaker, we are shooting ourselves on our foot, Mr. Speaker. We passed a budget here the other day, and surprisingly, we have made very good recommendations. Then you ask yourself, Mr. Speaker, how are we going to walk that talk? How are we going to implement those policies, Mr. Speaker, some of the recommendations that have been done? Whereas in our budget, Mr. Speaker, it was not a deliberate attempt to have inserted some amounts and figures to enable these VTCs, Mr. Speaker, to be operational. Because when you go to these VTCs, Mr. Speaker, you will be wondering, because some of them even look deserted, as much as they are operational, but you look at the environment, Mr. Speaker, you find like there's no life at all, Mr. Speaker. And you wonder, when we are encouraging these kids to join those institutions, Mr. Speaker, you keep asking ourselves our questions. Are we really serious? Are we really ready to invest seriously in this department, Mr. Speaker? Because the country currently is moving to technical skills, according to even to the current direction where we are having house levies and a lot of industrialization, Mr. Speaker. But if we don't align ourselves well, we don't invest to these institutions, Mr. Speaker, then most of our boys and girls will be moving outside to go and gain these skills elsewhere. Whereas we are allocating millions of money to bursaries, but they seep out of our account daily because our boys and girls are seeking skills elsewhere. Why can't we deliberately choose to invest heavily by equipping our institutions, Mr. Because these skills are practical, they are not theoretical, Mr. Speaker. But when you go there to a class where kids are learning about a motor vehicle, Mr. Speaker, you wonder, some of them have never seen even an engine. They are doing it in drawings, Mr. Speaker, and theory, which is very unfair. These kids need to interact with engines. They are practical skills, Mr. Speaker, and I agree that we need to give this department the seriousness it deserves, if at all we care about them, Mr. Speaker. So I agree that as much as we can make recommendations, but they cannot be implemented unless we are also able to deliberately insert finances to this department, Mr. Speaker. That is the only way we can guarantee ourselves. I only have one VDC in my area, Mr. Speaker, but unfortunately, even the role is very low. But each time we encourage these kids to join, Mr. Speaker, you have no reason even to advertise and even to encourage them to join, because there is a lot that needs to be done. And this is a devolved function, Mr. Speaker. Its failure squarely relies on us, and that's why I agree that unless we insert values, unless we insert figures, Mr. Speaker, in our budget, then we'll keep remaining talking and talking, but nothing will be done in this issue. So I highly agree and support this report, but again, Mr. Speaker, let's deliberately insert figures in our budget. Thank you. I stand to support the report.
Honorable Mwalega.
Asante sana mwenyekiti. Nami nimeamka kuiunga mkono ripoti hii na matamshi ya mheshimiwa wetu DS Bwana Deputy Speaker. Nimependa pia kuunga matamshi yake mkono. Kwanza kabisa mimi pia niko na VTC moja ama chuo cha ufundi ambacho kiko Mwatate ward kimoja, na hivi majuzi tu nilikuwa nimetembelea kituo ama chuo cha ufundi hicho pale Malambenyi VTC, na yale matamshi ambayo mheshimiwa Deputy Speaker ameongelea ni ya ukweli kabisa. Kwanza kabisa nilipofika pale, mwenye ambaye anasimamia chuo cha ufundi kile, kwanza kabisa hakuna pesa ya kuweza kufanya shughuli zao, na pili pia nikapata ya kwamba wanafunzi ambao wanaenda katika ile chuo ni wachache, kumaanisha kwamba wengi ambao wanatamani sana kwenda kusomea ujuzi, basi wengi wamepatwa na changamoto ya fedha ama ile karo ya kulipa. Na tatu, nikapata kwamba chuo kile kwanza hakina fence katika perimeter ya ile shamba yao, na ikawa pia watu wengi wanaweza kufanya mambo ambayo haeleweki katika chuo kile. Pili, hakina security ama wale ambao ni walinzi wa usiku. Ukiangalia sana tunataka tuweke vifaa pale katika vyuo vyetu vya ufundi, lakini jambo kubwa ambalo pia linakumbana na vyuo vyetu vya ufundi na ni kwamba hakuna watu ambao wanaweza wakachunga ile mali ambayo iko pale. Kwa hivyo hii ni changamoto ambayo ningependelea kwamba waheshimiwa ambao tuko hapa tuweze kuweka mikakati ya kwamba kaunti yetu yote na katika vyuo vyetu vya ufundi viwe na watu ambao wanachunga ama wanalinda usiku. Alafu tatu ingine ni kwamba ukiangalia katika vyuo vyetu ambalo nilipata pale, wale ambao wanasomea kutengeneza magari ama ufundi wa mechanics, katika kile chuo chetu ama vyuo vingi vya ufundi hawana hata gari ama engines ambazo wakaweza kuanza kufundishwa ili waweze kujua mambo ya mechanics. Kwa hivyo hiyo bado ni tatizo ambalo liko pale. Alafu jambo lingine la kusikitisha sana ni kwamba wale walimu ambao wameandikwa katika chuo kile pale cha Mlambeni, kuna walimu wawili ambao hawaendi kufundisha wanafunzi wetu ambao wako pale wachache. Kwa hivyo hii ni changamoto katika komiti hii ya kwamba hawa walimu pia waweze kuchukuliwa hatua, kwa sababu wale watoto ambao ni wachache wamejitolea kwenda katika vyuo vyetu vya ufundi. Wakifika pale changamoto wanapata walimu hawaendi na inawaua moyo, na unapata wale vijana wetu pia wanaona wakienda pale walimu hawako, kwa hivyo pia wanaona kufa moyo. Kwa hivyo mimi kama MCA wa Mwatate nimejaribu sana kuanzisha program ambayo tunaita Dimisha, ili kuweza kusponsor vijana wetu waende wakafanya nini, wakasome pale. Mwaka jana ama katika bajeti ambayo imepita tuliweza kusaidia vijana 130, na hii financial year ambayo iko sasa bado vijana wa Mwatate ambao wako Mwatate ward wanaweza kwenda kusomea ujuzi. Basi tuko nao kwa bajeti yetu ya ward. Kwa hivyo ninaomba pia wajitokeze ili tuweze kuwasaidia. Kwa hivyo naomba members ama naomba waheshimiwa ambao wako katika wadi ambazo ziko katika eneo letu la Taita Taveta County, sisi wenyewe tuweze kuona vile tunaweza tukaweka mikakati ili vyuo vyetu vya ufundi basi tuweze kuvipatia pesa ili waweze kujimudu na waweze kuendelea katika shughuli zao. Kwa hivyo nimesimama hapa Mheshimiwa Spika ili kuiunga ripoti hii mkono. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Mheshimiwa Tawala.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia fursa hii ili niweze kuchangia mjadala huu, na nianze kwanza kabisa kwa kumshukuru mwenyekiti wa hii kamati ya elimu kwa ile kazi nzuri aliyofanya na kutuletea ripoti hii, na naanza kusema kwamba ninaunga mkono ripoti hii kikamilifu Mheshimiwa Spika, na pia tu nichangie kwa kuongezea kwamba ni kweli hili swala la kusaidia vyuo vyetu vya ufundi, hili swala la kuhakikisha kwamba tunaboresha elimu yetu, na sisi kama washikadau wa elimu katika kaunti yetu ya Taita Taveta tunachangia kikamilifu kuhakikisha kwamba hilo tunaliongoza, linaenda mbele zaidi Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna umuhimu tuweze kuliangalia hili kwa mapana na marefu, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, ndio kitambo tumekuwa tukipatiana education loans, lakini wakati mwingine ni kama ziko kwa zaidi kwa watu walengwa. Lakini kuna watoto sasa hivi wa maskini, watoto ambao ni hohehahe, ambao hata wakapewa hizi loan hawawezi kupiga hatua mbali kwa sababu uwezo wa wazazi wao kujazia ile pesa nyingine hauwezekani. Na hii ni fursa nzuri kwamba kupitia katika hizi basari ambao tunaweza kuzipeleka katika kaunti zetu, tutaweza kuchagua wale watoto ambao ni wanahitaji zaidi, wale ambao wanatoka mazingira magumu zaidi, ili tuweze kuwapatia basari hizi na tuwapatie sponsorship, tuhakikishe kwamba tunaleta professionals katika wadi zetu na katika kaunti yetu kwa ujumla. Kwa mfano, kuna watoto wengi ambao wako na qualification za kwenda kufanya nursing, wako na qualification za kwenda kufanya teachers training, wanahitaji kwenda kufanya clinical, lakini hawawezi kufanya kwa sababu ya uchache wa uwezo wa wazazi na yale mazingira ambao wanatoka ambao ni magumu. Mheshimiwa Spika, pia niongezee hapo kwamba nilifanikiwa kufanya kazi kidogo katika regime ile ya kwanza tulipoleta ugatuzi katika kaunti yetu, na niliweza kuhakikisha kwamba tulifufua, na nikiwa ward administrator tuliweza kufufua polytechnic 2 katika eneo ambalo nilikuwa nafanya kazi, ambayo ilikuwa ni Chuvini Youth Polytechnic na Chala Youth Polytechnic. Tulianzisha from the grass, na wakati nikitoka kama ward administrator kipindio, Chuvini Youth Polytechnic ilikuwa inajizalishia chakula chake yenyewe, lakini sasa hivi ukienda katika yale maeneo unakuta ni kama vile ni mahame, hakuna kitu ambacho kinaendelea cha msingi. Na moja ya mambo ambayo yameweza kuleta hii shida ni kwamba tulikoko shule zilikuwa zinapatiwa capitation. Wanafunzi wa polytechnic walikuwa wanapatiwa capitation ya kila mwaka shilingi 15,000, ambao pesa hii ilikuwa inasaidia elimu katika yale maeneo na kuhakikisha kwamba miundo msingi ya yale maeneo inakaa katika hali ambayo ni nzuri zaidi. So Mheshimiwa Spika, hii ni fursa tumeipata ya kipekee ili tuweze kupatia special attention wale watoto wetu ambao wako kule mashuleni katika polytechnics, ili tuweze kuwapatia pesa za kutosha ili uangalizi na usimamizi wa vyuo hivi viweze kusimamiwa katika hali ambayo ni sahihi. Sasa hivi tuko na hivi vyuo vya jina la kimombo wanaita technical schools ama vyuo vya anuai. Technical schools nyingi tuko nazo, lakini unakuta wanaosoma technical schools hawatoki katika eneo letu la Taita Taveta County, kwa sababu hatuna njia za kuwezesha watoto wetu waweze kwenda katika hivi vyuo na waweze kupata elimu na ujuzi ambao utatusaidia katika ujenzi wa taifa letu. So Mheshimiwa Spika, hii ni fursa ya kipekee ya kuhakikisha kwamba hawa watoto wetu ambao pia wanaenda katika hivi vyuo vya anuai tunawapatia usaidizi wa kutosha ili tuweze kuwawezesha waweze kupata elimu nzuri ili iweze kutujenga. Kitambo Mheshimiwa Spika, ulikuwa ukitaka kupata kitanda kizuri utaenda kukipata katika hivi vyuo vya ufundi. Ukitaka kupata mafundo wazuri utawapata katika vyuo vya ufundi. Lakini nasikitisha kama mheshimiwa alivyoongea hapa mbele yangu akisema kwamba sasa hivi unapeleka contractor kwenda kujenga jengo katika chuo cha ufundi. Unashindwa kwani hao watoto walikuwa wanafundishwa nini na mazoezi wanafanyia wapi? So Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ninashukuru sana kwa fursa hii na ripoti hii naiunga mkono 100% ili iweze kutufanyia kazi na iweze kumsaidia mkazi wa kaunti hii nzuri, kaunti ya Taita Taveta. Asante.
Mheshimiwa Mwambi.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa nafasi hii ambayo umenipatia. Vile vile naunga mkono hoja hii na pia kutoa shukrani kwa kamati ambayo imefanya kazi hii kupitia mwenyekiti Mheshimiwa Kimuyu. Langu tu ni kusema ya kwamba ningeomba pia kamati hii iende hatua nyingine zaidi, hasa kupitia kwa hiyo idara katika hivi vyuo vyetu vya ufundi katika kaunti yetu yote, wafanye waende waangalie zile changamoto, vile vifaa ambavyo vinatakikana kulingana na report, kwa sababu changamoto imejitokeza na ni kweli kabisa. Hata kwangu niko na vyuo viwili na ukiangalia vingi havina, in fact vyote viwili havina vile vifaa ambavyo vinahitajika kwa kufundisha hawa wanafunzi ambao wako hapo. Kama kwa mfano unakuta kama mwenzangu amezungumza, mwanafunzi anafundishwa mambo ya magari lakini unakuta hata hakuna engine. So ningependa kuulizia hii kamati at least ifuatilie hili jambo zaidi kupitia kwa hiyo idara ya elimu, ili tupate tunaitaga kwa kizungu, kwa kimombo assessment ya kila the assessment needs ya kila chuo cha kiufundi katika kaunti yetu Taveta. Hiyo itatuwezesha sana kujua kwamba okay, gharama yake ni pesa ngapi, na tukubaliane sisi waheshimiwa tuone ya kwamba tumepeleka ama tumeweka pesa katika kusaidia kununua hivyo vifaa, kwa sababu hakika mahali tunalenga kama vile Deputy Speaker amesema ni ya kwamba tunaelekea katika mambo ya viwanda, na katika viwanda watu wale ambao wako na ujuzi mbalimbali ndio wanahitajika, na kama hatutawezesha hawa vijana wetu kupitia kwa njia hiyo ya kusaidia hivyo vifaa ili wapate masomo ambayo yanafaa kuwafundisha kupata ule ujuzi, basi itakuwa sisi bado tutakuwa tuko nyuma. Changamoto nyingine pia imejitokeza ni ya kwamba walimu hawako wa kutosha. Kwa hivyo pia ni vyema tuhakikisha kwamba nashukuru katika advert iliyowekwa hivi karibuni kuna hapo nafasi chache za walimu, lakini ningesema ya kwamba hizo nafasi bado ni chache, ziongezewe, kwa sababu unakuta katika hivi vyuo vya ufundi unakuta tu ni taaluma chache ambazo zinafundishwa ama zinapatikana katika hivyo vyuo, na saa hii vile tunaendelea mambo yanaendelea, yani mambo ya kiteknolojia yanazidi kuongezeka, na unakuta ya kwamba katika chuo kimoja unakuta tu labda ni aina 2 ama 3 za ujuzi, na ujuzi ni nyingi ambazo zinahitajika katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo naomba pia kwa kupitia kamati hii vyuo vyetu vipandishwe ngazi, visiwe tu na yani utaalamu kama ni 2-3 mason, carpentry na labda na tailoring, welding ziwe hapo ndani, na zile zingine ambazo tunajua kwamba ziko na market na zinaweza kusaidia vijana wetu kufanya competition na wale wengine na wenzao wengine kutoka katika zile kaunti zingine. Kwa hivyo kwa hayo ningependa kusema pia naunga hoja hii mkono. Asante Bwana Spika.
Mheshimiwa Steven Zai.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Kwanza kabisa ningependa kupongeza mwenyekiti wa elimu kwa kuleta mswada huu. Naunga mkono. Kusema ukweli kabisa, hizi shule za anuai zimegatuliwa 100%. Na hata mimi nilipoingia mara kwanza kabisa niliweza kutembelea kichuo kimoja kiko pale kwangu Marungu ambacho kinaitwa Marungu VTC, na changamoto ni kama vile wenzangu wameweza kuzinukuu, na zingine naona ni kama zinawezekana. Kwa mfano, kuna hawa wanafunzi wanaojifunza kutengeneza magari, unakuta hakuna magari katika hizo vyuo. Lakini nikiangalia katika serikali yetu ya county, magari ni mengi sana, yamelala tu kwa mayadi, na hata kuna wakati nilieleza waziri tuweke mikakati kwa zile gari hazitumiki, zimelala tu kwa yards hapa kwa county, weze kama itawezekana kwa kila shule waweze kuweka gari moja moja ili hawa watoto waweze kujifunza. Changamoto nyingine, kuna courses ama hizi ujuzi unasoma miaka 2, na ni ujuzi unaweza soma hata miezi 6 na ukashika na ukaanza kufanya huo ujuzi na ukaweza kupata certificate yako na uweze kupata kazi, kama ujuzi wa kuchomelea, ujuzi wa saloon, wa kusonga. Hizo ni ujuzi unaweza fanya na miezi 6 na ukaweza kupata certificate na ukaweza kuendelea na maisha. Changamoto nyingine katika hizi shule, kuna wanafunzi wanatoka mbali. Unakuta akifika shuleni, time ya chakula kwa shule hakuna chakula, na kwenda nyumbani ni mbali. Mimi pale kwangu nilifika na nilipoeleza changamoto, mimi mwenyewe nikaanza kama kiongozi kwanza, wakaniambia hawana sufuria na vikombe na masahani ya kupika, na nikawawezesha kuwatafutia na nikawapelekea, na kuanza hiyo program nikawanunulia mbuzi na chakula ili waweze kuendelea na kuwatia moyo. Kusema kweli, hizi vyuo vinasaidia sana. Na upande wa usimamizi, manager ambao wanakaa katika hizo shule, ni lazima pia wao waweze kuchangamka. Wengi wao wako kwa shule, wanangoja tu wanafunzi waje kwa shule. Ni lazima wajitokeze kwa mikutano, mahali kokote kuna mikutano, waweze kwenda na kuweza kutangaza hiyo shule na umuhimu wa hiyo shule na ni ujuzi gani zinapatikana katika hizo shule. Nafikiri tunaona mara kwa mara wakati college yetu ya Voi CAT wakati wamefunga shule, huwa wanatoa brochures na wanazunguka kila mahali wakipeana watu ili waweze kutangaza shule yao. Pia katika hizo shule zetu za anuai, ni lazima manager pamoja na walimu na komiti waweze kufanya mambo kama hayo, ndiposa hizo shule zitaweza kujulikana. Na lingine pia, kutia moyo hawa wanafunzi. Ni lazima tuige kama vile college, university, watafutie hata magauni wakati graduates wanaenda kupata vyeti vyao. Ndio mtu asione tu ile ni shule tu ya hivi inakaa hivi. So ni lazima tukifanya vitu kama hizo shule zitapata wanafunzi. Lingine, sasa tunajua watoto wamefanya KCPE, wengine wamefanya KCSE. So hao wa KCPE ambao hawajafanya vizuri, maybe wako na marks za chini ya 100 na kushuka chini, waweze kufuatwa na kuelezwa zile ujuzi zinapatikana katika hizo anuai, ndio waweze kujiunga, ndiposa hizi shule zitaweza kukua kama vile shule zingine zimekuwa. Kwa hayo machache, naunga mkono hoja hii. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Mheshimiwa Mzuha.
Mheshimiwa Spika, nashukuru kwa nafasi hii, fursa hii ambayo umenipatia. Nilikuwa nimeachana na kuja kuchangia ripoti hii kwa sababu wenzangu wengi wamechangia, na yale yote walikuwa wamesema ni yale pia nilikuwa nanuia kuyataja, lakini sitakosa kuongezea kidogo kwamba mara nyingi, Mheshimiwa Spika, tunatengeneza ripoti zikiwa nzuri sana, na hata kwa nchi yetu ya Kenya kuna ripoti zimetengenezwa nyingi sana, lakini shida moja Bwana Spika,
ripoti zetu nyingi waga zinaishia tu kwa makaratasi. Hatutilii maanani ripoti hizi ili ziweze kutekelezwa zikazae matunda. Kwa hivyo langu tu ni changamoto kwa ajili ya mwenyekiti wetu wa kamati ya elimu Bwana Kimuyu na sisi ambao tuko katika komiti hiyo, kwamba nimeona hapa tuko na mapendekezo zaidi ya 16 kuhusu ripoti hii. Na hii ripoti Bwana Spika ilitumia pesa nyingi sana. Manake si pesa peke yake, ilitumia nguvu, pesa na pia akili. Tukazunguka vyuo hivi vyote vya anuai ambazo tulizitaja hapa hivi. Na itakuwa si haki kabisa kwa mteja na mtaveta kama kamati hii tutazembea alafu ripoti hii ikose kutekelezwa. La pili, Bwana Spika, ni kwamba sisi ndio waga tunapitisha bajeti. Na mapendekezo haya mengi nimeyaona hapa yanahitaji fedha. Na swala la elimu limegatuliwa katika vyuo vya anuai, likagatuliwa katika vyuo vya ECD au shule zetu za chekechea. Lakini ukiangalia bajeti ambayo tulipitisha hii supplementary budget milioni 248, hakuna hata shilingi moja tuliweka katika vyuo hivi. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa sisi ni tunafanya mzaha kabisa kama bunge kama tutakuwa tunaongea kuhusu ugatuzi wa elimu, lakini pesa nyingi tunapeleka katika ile katika mpango wa elimu ambao haujakatuliwa. Kwa hivyo ningependa kusema kwamba kwa mwaka ujao, wajumbe wenzangu, najua Kiswahili ni kigumu kidogo, kwamba katika bajeti ya mwaka ujao, basi sisi kama wajumbe tujaribu kabisa kuwekeza pesa katika hii kiwango cha shule za anuai, ili mapendekezo haya ambayo ni mazuri sana yaweze kutekelezwa. La mwisho Bwana Spika, kitambo vyuo vya anuai vilikuwa vinaitwa polytechnic. Na tulikuwa tunajua kama Wakenya kwamba mtu anaenda kwa hizo shule wakati ameanguka mtihani. Ningependa kumkosoa kidogo ndugu yangu kutoka Marungu kwamba anasema eti wale wanafunzi ambao wamepata marks za chini kabisa ndio waende kwa hizo vyuo, na hiyo ndio hali ilikuwa tangu kitambo. Kwamba ukianguka class 8 unaambiwa, hata mtoto utatishiwa tukiwa wadogo kwamba ukianguka tutapeleka polytechnic. Sasa ikawa hiyo hali kwa kwamba hizi vyuo vinadharauliwa sana. Lakini hali sio hivyo tena hapa kwa wakati huu. Kwa sababu sasa hizi ajira nyingi zinatokana na ujuzi. Kwa hivyo sasa hizi ningependekeza hata mtu akipata B+, hata ile university asomee mambo mengine, pia anaweza rudi shuleni pale na akasomea ujuzi, ili wakati anatafuta kazi ile yake alisomea pia ako na ujuzi, anaweza kulia kidogo kidogo. Na ndio bosa anasema kwamba na pia tusiruhusu watoto wa darasa la 8 waingie kwa hizo vyuo. Mimi naamini kwamba elimu ya chini inafika kidato cha 4. Hata ukipata max 100 hakuna mtoto anaanguka siku hizi. Kuna nafasi zao za kusoma, wafike form 4 ili pia wajenge misuli za kushikilia randa. Unapeleka mtoto miaka 14 upeleke kwa carpentry au aende kung'ang'ana na engine, itakuwa ni ngumu sana. Kwa hivyo mimi ningependa kusema kwamba hii report ni ya maana na tulifanyia kazi, lakini haitakuwa na maana kama haitatekelezwa. Asante sana Bwana Spika, na naiunga mkono report hii.
The honorable members, I now propose the question that this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Education Development, Libraries and Vocational Training on the challenges faced by vocational training centers in the county, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 28th November 2023, morning sitting number 83, as recommendations thereof. Honorable members, I now put the question that this third county assembly This Third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Development, Libraries and Vocational Training on the challenges faced by vocational training centers in the county, laid on the table of this House on 28th November 2023 morning sitting, number 83, and its recommendations thereof. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next motion.
The number 9 motion, adoption and approval of the report of the Sectorial Committee on Early Childhood Education Development, Libraries and Vocational Training on the review of the Governor's Memorandum to the Taita Taveta County Education Fund Bill, Bill number 2 of 2023.
Honorable Kimoi. Continue, Mheshimiwa Kimoi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to move a motion on adoption and approval of the report of the Sectoral Committee on Early Child Education Development, Libraries and Vocational Training on the review of the Governor's Memorandum to the Taita Taveta County Education Fund Bill, Bill number 2 of 2023, that this Third Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Central Committee on Early Childhood Education Development, Libraries and Vocational Training on the review of the Governor's Memorandum to the Taita Taveta County Education Fund Bill, Bill number 2 of 2023, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 28th November 2023, morning sitting number 083, and its recommendation thereof. Mr. Speaker, the report has some observation that, Speaker, I want to make before this House concerning the memorandum. And this is as per the report. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, there are some of the from the memorandum that was brought to this House and from the committee. These are the Governor's reservation to the Taita Taveta County Education Bill 2023. The Taita Taveta Education Bill number 2 of 2023 was passed by the County Assembly on 17th October 2023. The bill was seeking to change the percentage in the allocation of bursaries and scholarship program, as well as abolishing the percentage allocation on the loans. Provision of Section 24 of the County Government Acts 2012 and Standing Orders number 137, the governor expressed his reservation to assent to the Taita Taveta Education Fund Bill 2023. Consequently, the memorandum was sent to the County Assembly on 8th November 2023, detailing the reason for his reservation. Thereafter, the Speaker read a commendation dated 14 November 2023, conveyed the Governor's memorandum on the bill, and subsequently referred it to the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Development, Education, libraries and vocational training for their consideration. Governor's reservation through his memorandum dated 8th November 2023, His Excellency the Governor submitted the following, the Speaker. 1. In exercise of powers conferred to him under provision of Section 24 of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Orders, number 137, he declined to assent to the Taita Taveta County Education Bill 2023 because of clause of the bill. The bill was seeking to abolish loan and the formulation a new sharing formula to bursaries and scholarship program. Number 2, they should be established the office of the secretary aside the fund administrator. Number 3, the members of the board to have post-secondary education from reputable institutions. The reason for refusal to assent, His Excellency the Governor refused to assent to the bill because of the following reasons that I've given. 1, granting of education loan, and I think I've gone through it. That's 1, granting of education loan, and including of what? Yeah, there's also, 1, granting of education loan and inclusion of ward administration to the ward bursary and scholarship committee was as a result of a comprehensive public participation and input there for scrapping it out should be subject to the comprehensive public participation. Number 2, it is for the above reason that His Excellency the Governor recommended inclusion of loans, clause 15 of the bill, which as a matter of fact is the primary content of the bill. Mr. Speaker, consideration of the Governor's memorandum on the Taita Taveta County Education Bill, the committee held its meeting to deliberate on the Governor's reservation to the Taita Taveta County Education Bill 2023. In considering the memorandum, the committee noted that the Governor's reason for refusal to assent to the bill are not sufficient following into considerations as follows. Number 1, they have not given a solution to the perennial problem to mismanagement of the loan facility, which means the problem which have been in the administration of loans will still remain. Number 2, the issue of what administrators is administrative and not to the core the service delivery for which the fund has been set up. Number 3, creation of the office of the board secretary, aside from that of the fund administrator, amount to creation of 2 centers of power, which compounds management challenges in the fund. Further, this has tried before in vain. A committee recommendation. The committee, having considered the Governor's reservations to the Taita Taveta County Education Fund, recommends that the House agrees with the decision to reject the Governor's memorandum and proposal to include education loan and the ward administrator into the ward bursary and scholarship committee. The Speaker, that was the report, and it is from the committee and the members that we are to decide on this matter, and this is because we wanted to give right direction. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of leaders who are visualized, that have gone to the ground and know what is happening. And that is why in goodwill, the memorandum from the governor was seriously taken through by the members, and the decision was made. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to wind up from there and call upon Honorable Mabish to second the motion.
Honorable members, that this Third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Education Development, Libraries, and Vocational Training on the review of Governor's Memorandum to the Taita Taveta County Education Fund Bill number 2 of 2023, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 28th November 2023, morning sitting number 83, and its recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Mheshimiwa Salim, the very Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity given me to contribute, also being part, not only part of the Education Committee membership, but also part of the membership of this House on this particular matter concerning the memorandum by the Governor. Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill was drafted and went all through the whole journey of a bill being processed in this House until its third reading to its onward forwarding to the Governor for assent. Unfortunately, somehow, somewhat, the Governor, in his wisdom, and in this particular part, Your Excellency, came back to us, reverted to us, asking us, we consider the bill, reconsider the bill. But again, the membership of this House, with its wisdom, thought it wise that we proceed with this bill as is, because also there's an element of time and, you know, more or less it has financial implications. So doing back and forth on this particular bill may end up becoming a disservice to the citizens of this county. And let it not be seen that this House, Mr. Speaker, is in a duel with the county executive. That is not our business, and it has never been our business. We are here to support the Governor, to deliver the promise that he made to the aspirations of this county. And sometimes part of the support is to say no, Mr. Speaker. No, as an answer, Mr. Speaker, might as well be a good response to someone who is supporting you. Because we still believe that there are some heads within the county executive that are not doing things right, and they may end up throwing this county into another whirlwind. And not unless some of these things are fixed, particularly now in this context of this fund, then we cannot be giving people blank checks to go and mess this county further. So, Mr. Speaker, we are all, and I believe the House will support, I'm rallying the House on this matter, honorable members, that we all unanimously reject the memorandum for the best interests of this county and the county government. The way it was structured, it is about, yes, separate functions, but working in collaboration and in cooperation. So, and consultatively. So, we have done consultation across, and we have all come to believe that the bill as passed is in good faith. And we have made everybody, all stakeholders, understand within the county governance structure that it is important the bill is considered as is. We are returning it to the governor as is, so that we can begin another journey. No, we can't just say something just bad from the onset. We have some good time to consider. And here we are calling the CEC in charge of education and the team. Soon as this bill is assented to act, let us start a thorough engagement on an amendment proposal that they would think we will agree, all of us, to help the people or the good citizenry of Taita Taveta, particularly those who are in need of education financing. Therefore, honorable members and honorable speaker, I stand to support the report. Supporting the report means, the report of the Education Committee means that I'm supporting the rejection, that we are overturning this memorandum. It's unfortunate that we are doing it now, but it's part of the rules, it's part of the checks and balances, but this county belongs to all of us, that we should all take care of, and in no way, and as a leader of this house, now allow me, Mr. Speaker, to make this remark, in no way that there is a member amongst us that is in a duel with the executive. Neither is the governor in a duel with the county assembly. I'm speaking from the position of house leadership. And Mr. Speaker, what we are doing today is basically executing of our mandate, nothing else. And it is for the betterment and the good of Taita Taveta. Therefore, we call upon everyone to support this. And we understand that there are also those that probably are watching and they'll be doing their analysis. We cannot be controlled from social media. We cannot be controlled from any point. We were elected independently, and we shall execute our mandate independently as a house. And we appreciate the remarks in social media, but when they don't make any sense, forgive us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support the report.
Honorable Makish.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for rendering me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the sponsor of this bill, I urge the honorable members to support the committee's report by rejecting the memorandum which was forwarded by the governor to this honorable house. Mr. Speaker, sir, we made a decision, and the decision that we made in supporting this bill was based by the research we did. People have suffered because of this loan thing. And Mr. Speaker, sir, we want to ask the governor through the CCM for Education to start the process of investigating those who have subjected our brothers and sisters and our children through deducting money from their payslip, and yet they never benefited from these loans. Also, Mr. Speaker, sir, we want to inform those who are out there, those who have been active on social media. And it's unfortunate that some of these people are leaders of this country, and instead of coming to sit the honorable members, they have chosen the path of social media because they want to become politically relevant. We want to tell them that we were elected by the people and we know what we are doing in this honorable house. And the decisions that we are making the decisions that are beneficial to the people of this great county of Taita Taveta. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's true we have done away with the loans, but we have also opened the window through that bill for the scholarships. And I feel that this is the right time. And also it's a challenge to the CCM for education to do research and come up with the findings of the gaps that we have in this county. Like for instance, maybe if you are lacking maybe professionals like in the education sector, like teachers, they should come up with that report and see how we are going to award our learners this scholarship-based award and come up with the numbers that they will be benefiting from this program. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe that this bill, and also, Mr. Speaker, you know that when change comes, there are some people who always find it uncomfortable because of the change. But I believe with time they will come to understand what we have seen and what we are targeting to achieve in the near future as the people of this great county. Mr. Speaker, sir, in last years, you realize that when we were issuing the bursaries, many learners in colleges and universities applied for the bursaries, the word bursaries. Few managed to get these loans, and yet many more people applied for these loans. We have asked for the report and for the list of all those who applied for these bursaries. And I want to challenge the committee to make follow-ups that can get all those who applied for the bursaries, for the loans, and how many managed to get the loans per ward. Because I believe in my ward, where I come from, Chabia, it's just around 5 or 6 who got the loans, and yet more than 20 applied. So that means there's something fishy happening in that office, in the issuance of these loans. And that's why some people outside there, they are really, they feel that this loan should continue because they are benefiting from it, and yet they are claiming that is poor, the children from poor backgrounds who are benefiting. I want to challenge them to produce that list and make it a public, produce it into public so that public can see who are the really beneficiaries of these loans. And then also, Mr. Speaker, sir, we wonder, we have a national help loan, and the government has come up with a model of awarding our learners in university and colleges the loans. Why should we also take our money from the county level back to the national government for the national government to manage our money? This shows that the leaders, shows that the government, the county government, doesn't have the capacity, doesn't have the ability to do its own affairs in the county level. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I urge honorable members to reject the memorandum and support the report of the committee. Thanks.
Honorable Makal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute. And I stand here to support the report in the view of rejecting the memorandum, Mr. Speaker. And I agree with the recommendations of the report, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to congratulate the team and the committee that has done a commendable job, Mr. Speaker. And as one of the speakers has said, Mr. Speaker, it's the nature of a human being to resist change. And when change is sometimes change is also inevitable. So I agree that I've seen mixed reactions, Mr. Speaker, on the social media about the so-called loans. And there is wisdom around it, Mr. Speaker. And that's why this House today has no, we're supposed to stand together and agree with the report. Because, Mr. Speaker, we have seen how the loan has gone. And we have seen, after some time, there was a wisdom around it. That's why we have considered to convert this loan to bursary types, Mr. Speaker, and even scholarship for those who are finished from post, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why someone somewhere will be challenging that, unless we give it time, Mr. Speaker, and see how it works. Because I do believe the only thing that cannot be amended, Mr. Speaker, is the Bible. But anything else in this world, Mr. Speaker, can be amended. And that's why today we can sit here, Mr. Speaker, and make amendments. I'm sure after some time, Mr. Speaker, we'll learn through this and see, is it a possibility of making an amendment, Mr. But only Bible, Mr. Speaker, you agree with me, it cannot be amended. But if there was a chance, Mr. Speaker, I feel some members here could have brought some amendments, and I feel, Mr. Speaker, but the other things, they are subject to amendments, Mr. Speaker. So nobody should be feel like we have subjected anyone, but we are giving a room for seeing a different angle of it. Because last year, Mr. Speaker, if you saw it on social media, Mr. Speaker, I felt so bad. A boy from 𝐂𝐒𝐕𝐄𝐓𝐀, Daniel Kialo, who was under government sponsorship, the county government sponsorship, he finished, he scored an A, you're supposed to go and pursue his doctorate, Mr. Speaker, but unfortunately the government could not extend that program because their program was for only high school, Mr. Speaker. That was so unfortunate. I wish this program, this bill could have come a long time. Maybe one of the beneficiaries today, Mr. Speaker, we are speaking, could have been Daniel, who could have received a scholarship from high school to university, and today we can be celebrating success stories, Mr. Speaker, from the boys we are sponsored from poor families. Those are the boys we should be talking about, because how they were picked, Mr. Speaker, to identify from very vulnerable families, they come from very poor families, and today we were unable to help him until we created I made a group to raise him funds, Mr. Speaker, take him to school, where he had benefited from the county high school sponsorship program. So that's why, Mr. Speaker, I strongly support this program and this report, so that can allow the bill will allow our boys and girls who have excelled from high school to proceed, Mr. Speaker, to high school through scholarship, because there is that door, Mr. Speaker, that has opened for scholarship, Mr. Speaker. So with the loans, Mr. Speaker, it's quite unfortunate. Even the funds we are receiving from the central government, Mr. Speaker, is not sufficient even to meet our own domestic needs, Mr. Speaker. And then we're still allocating some funds, which is the duty of the national government. That is not a fact that is not devolved, Mr. Speaker. And then we're still assigning some funds there. And we can still celebrate that we are allocating some funds there. We have no problem with that, Mr. That is a function of the national government. The leaders who are operating at the national level, they should hold the national government accountable. Why is it that the children from this county are not benefiting from the HELB loans? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves and answering, but not taking sides on the funds that are meant for this county to be taken back to the HELB, Mr. Speaker. I agree, they have a good cause, they have a good spirit to support education, but they should also be helping us up there, the national government, so that our children from the Taveta County can benefit from the national HELB fund, and not that we should allocate some funds for this county does not receive. It's among the least, Mr. Speaker, and that's why we want to use whatever we have wisely. And us adding 5 million on top of the bursary, Mr. Speaker, in itself is an achievement. So we have just had 1 million, 100 million from the loan. Now it's going to bursaries. They should allude this house for that move, Mr. Speaker, and the bill was very clear. That's why I strongly agree with this report, Mr. Speaker, and let's give it time. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand here strongly to support the report, and Mr. Speaker, in rejecting the memorandum. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I rise here as a member of the Education Committee to support the well-thought report from the committee. I'm also rising here to say that nobody has got ill motive, particularly someone like me. I'm a teacher, and I want all the students of Taita Taveta to get education. So it's unfortunate that people are going out there to incite the public that this house does not want people to go to school. They should ask very difficult questions, and they should know that we are in record for increasing the budget of education and bursaries in this county. And number two, we have not lost even a coin, Mr. Speaker. We have not lost even a coin. The money which was meant for scholarships has just been converted to bursaries. So the same students of Taita Taveta will still benefit from the same. Number two, Mr. Speaker, the bursary was being handled in one kit. So it was very difficult to determine how many students from Bololo, from 𝐓𝐀𝐈𝐓𝐄 have benefited from these loans. So with now it being devolved to what level in form of bursary, then regional balancing and equity will be realized. Again, it should go to the public that We have also opened the door for scholarships, which has never been there for university students. So I see, as I sit here now today, I can go and pick like 2 or 3 students from Bololwad and give them full scholarship in the university. So we have lost nothing. So I stand here, Mr. Speaker, to support the report and ask the governor and the executive that nothing is cast on stone. We are ready to amend the report, but after we have seen where it is speaking. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Honorable Tendo.
Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa ruksa yako naomba naongee kwa lugha mufti ya Kiswahili ili wengi wa Taita na Wataveta wapate kusikia maoni yangu. Mheshimiwa Spika, nasimama kuunga hoja hii mkono. Mheshimiwa Spika, tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 mwaka 2022 Wataita na Wataveta waliamka kutuchagua sisi kama viongozi kuwa watetezi wao. Mheshimiwa Spika, ndani ya moyo wangu na dhamira yangu ninajua katika nyumba hii hakuna kikaragosi cha mtu yoyote. Hapa ni wateule, watu waliochaguliwa na Wataita na Wataveta kuja kuwatetea na kuhakikisha kwamba yale mapendekezo yao yameweza kuwafikia. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, kama bunge la kaunti tunatakana tuheshimiane na mabunge mengine yote yale. Isionekane mtu ametunukiwa nafasi kwa kiwango cha juu akatudharau sisi, akatona kama sisi hatujifahamu, sisi hatujielewi na sisi hatufai kuwa hapa. Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wa Taita na Taveta wengi wetu nikiwa nimechaguliwa awamu ya 3 wanajua fika wamechagua mtu mwenye maadili, mtu ambayo anajua mahitaji yao fika, si mtu kubahatisha. So Mheshimiwa Spika, tunaomba kwa unyenyekevu kusema ya kwamba tunaunga hoja hii mkono kwa sababu sisi hapa ikiwa MCAs tunajua fika matatizo ya wakaaji ya uli zetu. Kuna baadhi ya wabunge Mheshimiwa Spika hawajui ni nini kinachoendelea kule ndani ya vijiji. Wanasikia, wanaambiwa, lakini hizi ndizo nyuso nyoyo ambazo zinafahamu fika matatizo ya Wataita na Wataveta. Mheshimiwa Spika, kama kuna kiongozi yoyote yule alikuwa anadhania anajua Bomeni zaidi ya Tondoo, Mheshimiwa Spika, huyo ni muongo na ni mnafiki. Mheshimiwa Spika, hoja hii imekuwa ikiumiza watu wangu haswa wa Bomeni. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna watoto wamefika university lakini wanasoma kwa shida. Wameuza mbuzi, wameuza kondoo, wameuza kuku, kila kitu ndani ya nyumba na maploti zao wameuza ili kupata elimu bora. Lakini cha ajabu Mheshimiwa Spika, watu hao wanakuza vyote, hawajaweza kupata huu mkopo wa HELB, wanakatwa pesa pasipokuwa na ufahamu wao. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni nani na ni kiongozi gani huyo anaweza kusimama juu ya ardhi uso wa dunia hii kusema tuendelee kutetea uovu? Mheshimiwa Spika, inatia uchungu sana, na kama huyo kiongozi hana ufahamu aje chini na tuelezane. Mheshimiwa Spika, Waswahili wanasemaga kuku ni kuku, jogoo ni jina tu. Wao wamebahatika katika kiwango cha juu, lakini sote Mheshimiwa Spika kazi yetu ni moja. Kwa hiyo tuheshimiane, tupatiane heshima ili tuweze kupeleka Taita Taveta mbele. Alafu kingine Mheshimiwa Spika cha kuudhi ni kwamba tusitaki kuumiza Wataita Wataveta kwa mirengo, kwa sababu unataka kupata kitu kikubwa kesho lakini unataka kumuumiza mwenzako. Mheshimiwa Spika, uongozi wa aina hiyo ni uongozi batili, ni uongozi wa ubinafsi, uongozi ambao watu ambao wanatakia makuu na wataki Taita Taveta kwenda katika viwango vya juu zaidi. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa unyenyekevu ninawaomba, ninawasihi wabunge wenzangu tushikamane kwa hili. Mengi tutapishana, lakini kwa hili Wataita na Wataveta watoto wetu kusoma. Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba tuungane mkono kwa viongozi. Kama ulikuwa kuna nia tofauti, jamani, naomba tushikamane, tuhakikishe watoto wetu wameweza kupata elimu bora. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakawatangazia pia watu wa Bomeni kuna 2.5 milioni. Sasa wale ambao walikuwa wamekosa pesa za university kwenda ma colleges, jamani, njoni kwa wingi na pesa ipo na mtapata haki kama Wataita na Taveta na Wataveta. Mheshimiwa Spika, nasimama kuunga hoja hii mkono. Asante sana kwa kunipatia fursa ya kuweza kunena yale yaliyoko moyoni mwangu.
Mheshimiwa Jimmy Mwamili.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this very important report. Mr. Speaker, sir, this report, it is not lost to all of us that it is very emotive in a way that by supporting the rejection of the memorandum, it may appear like you are anti-education. But again, Mr. Speaker, sir, nothing is cast in stone. And just to make my pronouncement, I 100% support this report, even as I continue to explain. Nothing is cast on stone, Mr. Speaker, sir. We have in this very house amended bills. Those bills were passed by a certain generation before. And when the time was right for them to be amended, they were amended. This will not be an exception. Some of the proposals well captured in this report are well-meaning and are a good angle of looking at the same solution we are all seeking. But they fall short in many ways. Some of them will require public participation, thorough public participation, which time we may not have. And right now, a month from today, the learners will be going back to school in January. It is the MCAs who suffer the brunt of waking up with parents lining up outside our homes, seeking for direct, personal, or any other assistance. Mr. Speaker, sir, out of that, in the wisdom of this House, last financial year, we equitably, for the first time since devolution started, and I think it's the first time and the first happening in all the 47 counties, I cannot think of any other, that has equitably distributed bursary to all the wards, cent for cent. Wundanyi Mbale ward got 5 million, same as Mbololo, same as Maho, same as Mwatate, and all the 20 wards got 5 million. It is the wisdom of this House to increase that funding, but to have the equitability nature of it. How are the resources being spent in this county? We may not have all the right answers. And for that reason, I do appreciate any feedback, but I wish some of this feedback was given when a publication was made on the right dailies and the right communication for comments, for contributions. But unfortunately, we didn't get any. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I stand to support this, I also agree with my fellow honorable members that it is in the best heart of Taita Taveta County, and for the first time this year, we will be able to manage at our ward level 10 million for our wards, shared equally to cater for our education needs. This is the spirit that has been driving us, and will continue improving on this bill as time goes by. And I believe if at all anything is left out, it will be included within a short while. But we will not lose anything as the people of Taita Taveta in as far as education is concerned. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to support this report 100%. Thanks.
Honorable members, I invite the motion mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to reply. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Sectoral Committee on Early Childhood Education, Development Libraries, and Vocational Training on the review of the Governor's Memorandum to the Taita Taveta County Education Fund Bill, Bill number 2 of 2023, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday 28th November 2023, morning sitting number 83, and recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the Taita Taveta Standing Order number 137, paragraph 5, stipulates that if the County Assembly passes the bill a second time without amendment or with amendments which do not accommodate the governor's concern by a vote supported by 2/3 of members of the County Assembly, honorable members, I direct that a roll call division be taken pursuant to Standing Order number 71, paragraph 2, and that the division bell be run for 5 minutes, After the expiry of, honorable members, where's the bell? Nyamwezi. Yeah, we have to make